Hi guys, this is really dark. I didn't realize it was even this dark in the room. I don't know if you can see us or not, but we're in bed anyway, so it's me and Vanabelle, my little baby Bob, and she wants me to tell her the mermaid story. And it's a pretty good story. I think I should draw pictures and make it into a children's book actually. It's a story I've been telling her since she was like 1.5, I think, is when I made the story up. She wanted me to tell her about mermaids, and I was trying to make it realistic and like come up with it in my own mind about like what I know and stuff. You're so sweet, aren't you? I love you. Alright, so she's laying here and I'm holding her, and she wants me to tell her the story so she can fall asleep. Once upon a time, there was a king and a queen, and they were mermaids, and they controlled all of the sea, and it was their job to take care of all the fishies in the sea. And the king and the queen had lots of baby mermaids with lots of different colored hair. Some had pink hair, some had green hair and blue hair. Lots of different colored hairs. But the baby, the youngest baby one that they had, that was their last, she had gold hair, just like her mommy. And her mommy, Mrs. Mermaid, the queen, she had long, beautiful golden hair. So it was their job to take care of all the fishies in the sea and make sure everyone was happy and safe. So the queen gave one strand of hair from her head to every fishy in the sea. And if they cut teeny little pieces off one by one to buy whatever they needed, the gold would last the rest of their lives. So all the fishies got their strands, and they cut a piece off, and one little piece bought them a house, and one little piece bought them fishy cars, and clothes, and toys, and all the things that come extra with all the things you need to take care of your house and pay for your house and your car. And they still went to work every day at their fishy jobs, but they still had that. And a lot of them didn't have to work because some of the fishies didn't need much, so their gold lasted them longer. But Mr. Shark, he got his gold, and he bought one house. He was so excited that he cut that strand into a lot of pieces, and he bought 2 houses. And then he bought a fishy beach house. And then he bought 1 car. And then he bought 2, 3, 4 cars. And he bought really expensive clothes and suits and fishy stuff. And then he just kept buying more and more things until the money was gone. So he went back to the kingdom and he asked the queen for another piece of strand. And the king mermaid, he said, no, shame on you. That strand should have lasted you the rest of your shark life. What did you do with it? You cannot have another strand. And King Mermaid was very angry. And the queen was very disappointed in Mr. Shark. So, Mr. Shark went off and he tried to get the money the old-fashioned way. He didn't want to work, so he sold one of his fishy houses to pay for the other fishy house that he had. And then he realized that was all that money was gone once he paid for the things that he was trying to pay for. Because it costs money to keep all the houses running and the cars. So then he sold his other house. And then the same thing happened again, and he ran out of money. So then he was down to one house and one car, and then he still didn't have anything. So he was angry, and he didn't want to lose what he had. So he went back to the kingdom, but they didn't let him in. So he snuck into the back, and he seen that Mr. King Mermaid was in a bad mood. So he didn't want to ask. So he started to try and find the queen. He thought maybe if he talked to her alone, he knew she'd give him a strand. And right when he went in, he seen the queen was sleeping, just floating along, and her big, long, fluffy, thick, beautiful mermaid gold hair flowing in the wind. Well, not the wind, it was the water. So instead of waking her up, he just grabbed the strand and he pulled it, and he swam away as fast as he could. And he said, wow, she didn't even notice. So Mr. Shark did it again. He had all the money in the world that lasted him the rest of his life, and he spent it all up on all the same things again. So when it was all gone and he needed that money again, he went right back and he did the same thing. So night after night, for a long time, he kept taking a piece of her hair. And some nights she was awake reading a book or doing something, so he would sneak up behind and cut a piece. And then he'd swim off and do his Mr. Shark things. During this time, the king and the queen were so worried. They didn't know what to do, and they kept going to Dr. Dolphin, and he didn't know what was wrong or what to do, because she wasn't sick, but her hair kept getting thinner and thinner and shorter. She was sad and she was scared. She didn't know how she was going to take care of all the other fishies in the ocean without her gold. So she was mostly worried about them. So Mr. King Shark said, well, at least we have the baby with the gold hair. But the queen said, no. Even if I had one last strand, that strand would last us and our family the rest of our lives. And we would be able to take care of ourselves. So we would never have to take from our baby's hair. So Mr. King said, okay. So as time went on, Mr. Shark continued to do what he was doing, even though he seen how sad it was making the queen. So one night he came in, and the king was so worried because it was one last strand on the queen's head. And he was up all night pacing. He was so very worried. And Mr. Shark snuck through the back, and he swam up and seen her last strand, and still he went to take it. And right as he was about to grab it off as she was sleeping, King Mermaid seen it and seen him. And he jumped out and he said, I knew it was you. I knew it was you the entire time. I had my suspicions, but I knew it was something, and I knew something was going on. How dare you steal from us, especially after we gave you something we didn't need to. Shame on you. You stole, lied, and cheated for so long, and you hurt the queen, and you hurt her feelings, and you hurt us. So he got the swordfish, and the swordfish came, and they took him to jail. And Mr. Shark went to fishy jail for a long time. But during his stay, he got to meet different people, And he learned how to live a different way. He learned how to live with less. And he learned that you didn't need to have so many things and flashy things to be special. So time went on, and the queen's hair grew back, and it was long and it was thick, although it would never be as long as it once was before. So Mr. Shark got out of fishy jail, and he came and he apologized to the queen. And the king was still so very mad because he had hurt the queen. But he swam away, and Mr. Shark got a job, and he started working and making his own money. And because he had been in jail and did wrong things, the fishy community was eerie about him. So he had little jobs that paid little bits, but he worked to prove himself. And he bought a nice little house that was big enough for just him, and a nice little car, and just a few outfits, a couple things for the inside of the house, and he did his best. And he respected everybody, and he had changed. But it was getting tough. So he thought that maybe, just maybe, the queen would help him. So he went and he apologized again, and he got on his knees and he begged for forgiveness and asked for a strand of hair. Because it was hard to work in the fishy community. And as soon as he asked, the king said no. How dare you ask again after what you had done? You will never get another strand of hair. But the queen stopped the king. And Queen Mermaid looked down at Mr. Shark and she said yes. You may have a strand of hair. And she handed it to him. She said, I know that Mr. Shark has learned his lesson. I know that he did not mean to, and that he would never do it again, and that he changed. So Mr. Shark thanked her, and he swam away, and he married, and had little baby sharks. And from the moment he swam away, he continued to work. He worked day and night, all the little fishy jobs, the rest of his life. And he did get a bigger house, and he did get a better fishy car, and he did get more things. But what he had done was put the strand away. And he never touched it until he got married and had kids. And then he only spent it on her and the kids. And sometimes on himself, when he felt that he deserved it. And he saved the rest, so that after he went away, his kids and family would have the fishy strand to last the rest of their lives, and his grandkids. And all the fishy community forgave him, and everybody lived happily ever after. The end. There's my fishy story, and she is sound asleep as usual. It always puts her out. Good night, guys.